Julia Bradley has joined us now. I just want to get your thoughts on this, Julia. A great day for anyone after the busy day with Sydney there in the background. It's a great way to wind up a day in Sydney, is to be out on the harbour at this time of day.
It is, Chris. What a way to spend the afternoon. The harbour city absolutely turning it on for all of these royal watchers. Many of them have been here at the forecourt of the Opera House for many hours on end, speaking to some people who got here at midday, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Others coming down here with friends and having lunch beforehand. Some oysters, some champagne, just making the most of the day and this beautiful weather and this historic moment. We've seen King Charles and Queen Camilla down here meeting the public, and this was really the biggest event that was put on during the course of this royal tour for the public. That opportunity for there to be that connection between the head of state and his Sydney subjects, but not all Sydney based. A lot of people coming in from interstate and also from overseas. We spoke to a family from Scotland. The last few days, a lot of people coming in from Queensland and Victoria as well. Where else would you rather be but here in Sydney?
Yeah, I can't help but think about the history of this too, Julia, as we watch these pictures. It is a spectacular city, a modern city of 5 million people. The harbour is the centrepiece, as you see there with the skyline in the background as the helicopters fly the Australian and the naval flags around the harbour. People gathering on the headlands. There's so many headlands along this stretch of the harbour. They'll be there at Darling Point and across the other side down around Mosman and the like. People just getting a glimpse of this ceremony. But you just have to remind yourself that this is where modern Australia began, where people call it Invasion Day. The rest of us call it settlement. But this is where the destinies of our Indigenous people and the British colonisers and all the immigrants who have come from four corners of the globe since have all ended up making this wonderful modern country with Sydney as its biggest city. And it all began here, not far from where the Royals are now. As they go past one of the HMAS vessels there, one of the Navy vessels, as part of this fleet review, and you see the sailors there in their wonderful bright white uniforms lining up to perform their military duties, but obviously take in the wonderful sight and the thrill of being there to take this review from the King of Australia. Julia, is this the end of their royal duties for today and for this royal visit, or do they have anything on after this fleet review?
Well, perhaps they'll head down to the Opera Bar for an afternoon champagne. It really remains to be seen. But in terms of the official engagements, they are over after that fleet review. So it has been a massive trip, a short trip, but a very, very busy one. And bearing in mind that King Charles is battling cancer at the moment, 75 years of age. So it has been an incredible effort for the pair of them. Yesterday in Canberra, there were 17 official engagements. And then after that, they got straight on a plane and headed here to Sydney. And now a huge reception for the public and such a warm welcome here to the Opera House. So the official engagements shortly will be coming to a close after we see the end of this fleet review. But who really knows how they'll spend the evening?
It's a ripping way to end the day. If I was them, I'd keep going east and perhaps pop in at the Watsons Bay Wharf, grab a beer at the Watsons Bay Hotel, duck next door to Doyle's for a couple of oysters, and then they can jump back on the boat. We'll take them right back home to Admiralty House at the steps there at the wharf there. It'd be brilliant. Just wonderful pictures, fantastic coverage. Thanks so much for joining us, Julia. Enjoy the rest of the day. Look at that magnificent harbour, Sydney Harbour there, as their Majesties take it all in. And I don't know how many countries they've been to over their many years. They would have seen just about every corner of this globe, but they will see no finer sight than Sydney, late afternoon on a spring day here. Look at that, just went magnificent stuff.